Hello, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Lauren. I'm going to walk you through a fitness class where we're going to do a lot of legs and abs. So we're just going to get started. Let's start marching. Okay, so for those of you who have taken my class before, my abs class, my circuit trainings, things like that, I have the timer set on my phone just like I do in those classes. So it's gonna beep about every minute and 15 seconds. So we'll do everything for that duration. I can't see the timer. Normally I like to give you a little heads up. You've only got 15 more seconds. I can't see it because the timer is on my phone and it's facing away from me. And it's even set right now, so even these things we're doing, we'll just do them for that time because I can't be, whatever. It's a little funky doing this from home, but I'm trying. So we're just gonna march for a little bit longer. We'll do a few warm-ups and then we will get into it. Again, every exercise for about 1:15. This routine takes only one piece of equipment and I'm gonna be using a pillow. If you have a yoga block, that's even better, but a pillow works just fine. So that's all you need. So from here, let's come to a high knee march. So really get your knees up off the ground. Again, a lot of the things we're gonna be doing today, especially the standing portion of the class, is legs. We've got a lot of legs to do. So we really wanna get the legs moving, get everything warmed up, everything working. So these first few moments here, as we're warming up, I want your heart rate to be a little elevated. Your breath might be a little labored. I want everything moving, blood pumping everywhere. Now keep up this high knee march, but start to add a rotation, like you're reaching your elbow towards your opposite knee. Your elbow and your knee most likely will not touch. If they do touch, it's probably because you're slouching. So stand up tall, lift your chest, and rotate at your spine. When we come to the mat, a lot of the movements are focused on abs. So we need your abs and your core warmed up. Let's do, I was gonna say a few more. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm just gonna wait for it to beep, which I hope is only a few more. My hip flexors are feeling this. So keep standing up, get the knees up, rotate and twist. After this, let's come to hamstring curls. Okay, so now your knees are gonna stay low. Knees are gonna bend deeply, heels to the backs of the thighs. So I want you to open your quads and start to work your hamstrings. We're really not gonna get into the hamstrings very much today. Well, a little bit. But lift your chest, relax your shoulders, and then pump the arms. So, reaching the arms out wide, like you're getting your elbows to touch behind your back. Keep lifting your chest, relaxing your shoulders. Keep getting the feet up towards the backs of the thighs, like you're kicking your backside. We really want to get the knees warmed up as well. So creating that movement there. Lift the chest, keep taking deep breaths. The hope again is that your breath is labored and that you feel like you're working hard here. So we're going to stick with it a little bit longer. After this, we're going to come into squats and then we should be warmed up because we're doing these a lot longer than we normally would in our class at McFetridge. So it'll be enough. Anytime you are about to, let's go to squats. Feet hip distance, lower, lift, lower, lift. So anytime you're about to do a strength training workout, doesn't matter what type of equipment you're using, but you want to do some dynamic movements for at least 5 minutes before. So usually the earlier in the day that it is, you're a little more stiff, right? Because you just got out of bed. So that's when you might need your warm-up to be closer to 8 to 10 minutes. Later in the evening, maybe just 5 to 8. But that's what we're doing. We're just moving everything around. Again, heart rate elevated, breath labored. That's all right. When we start to get into these later movements, which we'll do right after this, your movements should be slow and controlled, really fluid movements, and your heart rate shouldn't become this elevated again. Breath should not come back to being this labored. This is really just for the warm-up. You certainly throughout the class should feel like you're working hard, but it won't necessarily come up this high like this. And if you typically take my class again at McFetridge, we do all of these things twice. Today, we're doing them just once. Okay. do things twice. All right, so you're gonna grab whatever you've got, a block, a pillow, whatever. And we're gonna come into lunges. So I'm gonna show you this from the side. You're going to step your right foot back. Feet are hip distance apart. Each foot is on its own lane of traffic. Back heel is off the ground. It should not be on the ground. Stand up tall, lower, lift, lower, lift. So you're coming down and up, not forward. Forward is gonna hurt your knee and not really get into the muscles we want. So you're bending both knees, back knee hovers over the floor, front knee is deeply bent. You're really firmly pushing your left heel into the ground. Now, you can stay here, or you can reach whatever you've got forward, even if it's just clasping your hands. Maybe, as you lower, you make a quarter turn twist towards your left, towards the front leg. So I'm making that twist to the left, twist to the left. That's gonna help us start to get into the obliques, into the side abs as you rotate. Okay. Same thing, second side. So step your right foot back. Nope, your left foot back. Step your left foot back. Each foot in its own lane of traffic. You're gonna keep the prop close by. Focus on lowering and lifting. We're gonna come to abs later, so you don't have to add the abs now. So focus on a strong lunge. Deeply bend the knees. Front knee doesn't come past the toes. You're pushing the front heel into the floor. Maybe you stay with your prop close by, or even if it's just your hands folded. Maybe you reach forward and you stay there. Maybe you make a quarter turn twist over to your right, towards the front leg. So when you rotate, we're getting into the obliques, into the side abs. Again, we'll get them later. So if you want to just focus on the lunge here, you are welcome to. Whew. But make sure that your spine is long and tall, crown of the head up, shoulders relaxed. Focus on a strong, solid lunge. Push the right heel down. You should be able to wiggle your right toes. Okay, another quad exercise. Feet are gonna come wide, about mat distance if you've got your mat like this. Turn the toes out. Feet look like like the letter B. Bring your hands close by. Sit and lift, sit and lift. Okay, so we're doing a take on a plie squat. The weight of your body is still back in your heels, but now really push it to the outside edges of your feet. So towards the big toe side, this is hard to do and teach at the same time. I don't really do everything with them usually. Push your weight into the pinky toe sides of the feet. Okay, so push into the pinky toe sides of the feet. You might stay here. You might reach forward, bring it back. Reach forward, bring it back. I want you to feel this in your quads and the tops of your thighs. I want you to feel it in your glutes as you squeeze at the top. And then the inner thighs. So drawing the knees away from each other, out to the sides of the room, pushing into the pinky toe sides as you work through most of the muscles in the legs. We're gonna stay for a little bit longer. 3, 2, 1. Okay, balance pose. So you're going to start with your feet hip distance apart, toes forward. Shift your weight into your right foot. Pick up your left. Keep your eyes on a fixed spot on the floor and tip forward. So, tipping forward, allowing that left leg to lift so that hopefully from the side, you look like a capital T. Reach the crown of your head forward, your left heel back. Lengthen your body. Make sure that your ribs don't drop. Bring them in. Right leg is working hard. If you need more work, lengthen your arms like you're reaching your fingertips forward or the prop forward, or keep it close by. But keep the hips level. Left hip is going to be tempted to hike up, so make sure it stays low. Spine stays in neutral. Ribs draw in. Lengthen your spine, engage your abs. So keep your eyes on a fixed spot. When we do these balance poses, for the second side, for example, you might come off your mat. If you're on a carpet like I am, it's much harder to balance because you're on a squishy surface. So you're welcome to. You know what we're doing? We're doing it on the second side. Same thing. Feet up distance, shift into the left, pick up the right, look at a spot on the floor, something that won't move, and allow your body to tip forward. Now, hopefully the right leg lifts and can straighten. Right heel pushes back. Drop the right hip so that your lower back and your pelvis is level. Ground through the left heel. We want the left leg working hard. Now your back is flat, spine is in neutral, so draw the ribs in. Engage your abs, lengthen and protect your lower back. You might keep your hands in or lengthen. Anytime you lengthen a limb, you're always making whatever you're doing harder. So lengthening arms forward will make the pose more challenging. So your call, wherever you want to be, but reach the right leg back, crown of the head forward, relax the shoulders. No matter where the arms are, relax the shoulders. Push the left heel down. You should be able to wiggle your left toes. Stay strong in the left leg, long in the spine. After this, we're coming to a chest exercise. Chest exercise. So you could use this with a pillow, a block. I have cork block, so it's tough with that, or nothing. But you're going to bring your forearms together. So forearms are together, elbows make a right angle. Make sure they don't sag down. You're going to squeeze and release, squeeze, release. You could do this with just your arms together. It's a little bit more on your shoulders, so I like it with something between your arms. You're going to squeeze, release, squeeze, release. Relax your hands, relax your wrists. This is not about your hands or your wrists, it's about your chest. I want you to feel the effort like you would feel when you're doing a push-up, a chest press, a chest fly, chest adduction. We're doing a chest adduction. So you're squeezing and releasing, squeezing, releasing. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. The muscle that shrugs your shoulder are your traps. We're not working your traps. So let your shoulders relax as you squeeze your chest muscles. Squeezing in and releasing, squeeze in and release. So a slow, steady, fluid movement. Next one is another balance pose. Now, if you've got a block, this is where it will come in handy, but it's okay if you don't. You might grab onto like the couch, a chair, but I do want your hand on something. So if you've got a block, you're going to hold it in your right hand, the short side, reach it forward, left hand to the left hip, look at a spot on the floor, shift your weight into your left foot, pick up the right like before, but this time tip all the way forward so your right hand comes down onto the floor or the chair or the couch or something. But I would prefer your hand on something rather than you tipping forward, because you can see that my torso is now slanted down, which is not so great. So right hand on something, left foot on the floor. Reach the right heel back, even up the pelvis, push the left heel down. You should be able to wiggle your left toes. Now you might reach your left fingertips forward. You might stay here. You might add movement. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, draw the elbow and the knee in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw elbow and knee in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw in. Okay, same thing, second side. So again, the left hand can come to a table, whatever, something preferably lower if you've got like an ottoman or something, or block. Left hand's gonna reach forward. Right hand will start at the right hip. Look at a spot on the floor, something that won't move. Shift your weight into the right, pick up the left, tip forward, and find stability here. Often on the second side, people tend to want to add the movement right away. But take the time to set yourself up in the second side just like you did the first. Give your second side all those opportunities to check in. So, right heel down, you can wiggle your right toes, lift your ribs, lift the back leg. It doesn't have to come that high though, because then that's when the ribs poke down. So draw the ribs in, lengthen, crown of the head forward. You can stay. You can reach right fingertips forward. You can stay. Or inhale, exhale, draw it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, and exhale. So feel the right leg working. Firmly push the right heel down. Again, you can wiggle your right toe. Keep lengthening and bring it back. Okay, now we're going to gonna come down onto the mat. Here's where we're gonna shift the focus to more abs. We're gonna start in a plank. We're gonna come onto our hands. So hands under shoulders, middle finger forward, creases of the elbows forward, not in, forward. And we're gonna lengthen the legs back. We're just gonna hold this plank still. Now, you can stay on your toes or drop to your knees. If you drop to your knees, I suggest bending your knees so your toes point up, or at least your feet point up. It's a little safer on your knees. Okay. Or come to your toes. So, oftentimes here, the hips sag or hike up. This is not down dog. Well, this is down dog, but a plank and down dog are different. So, you're a straight line. Now, oftentimes, the ribs sag and the sit bones hike up. Tuck your tailbone, lengthen your lower back, protect your lower back. Now, the other thing that often happens is we let the heart sag to the floor. Push down. Lift your heart away from the floor like you're pushing the earth away from you. Like you're lengthening your arms, pushing into the floor, rip your mat in half. Okay, down on your stomach. Reach your arms out in in diagonals. This is hard to teach this and talk. Okay, shout out to Olivia. Good, credit to her. Okay, so arms at diagonals forward. So from up overhead, you look like the letter Y. Relax your legs, lift your upper body. Draw your arms in, you look like the letter W. Lengthen back to the Y, lower down. Lift, draw elbows back, draw arms forward, lower down. Lift, reach back, draw forward, lower down. Lift, squeeze, lengthen, lower. Now keep moving, but as you're doing this, make sure you're looking down at your mat, not forward. There should be no wrinkles in the back of your neck, so you're looking down. You're lifting your heart and your chest away from the floor, not just your face. I want you to feel the lift in your lower and mid back, and as you squeeze back, feel this in your upper and mid back. So your whole backside should be working. Backside of your torso is working as you do this. We're gonna come back to a plank. Okay, back to a plank. This time, let's come to our forearms. So, elbows under the shoulders. If this bothers you for any reason, you can come back to your hands. I'll explain the difference in a moment. But elbows under shoulders, you know your elbows are under your shoulders if you can grab your arms. Not just the fingertips, this is too wide. Curl the fingers around. And then do whatever you want with your hands. Lengthen back. Now, you can come to your knees or stay on your toes. All right, so when you're on your forearms, as we are now, your biceps are working. They weren't working before. When we were on our hands with the arms straight, biceps were not working. But less of you was touching the ground and you were farther away from the ground. So it was a little bit more of a balance pose. So in the first plank, everything needed to work a little bit harder, where here, everything's working plus your biceps. So there's more muscles taking over the work. Now, make sure hips don't hike up or sag down. Whew. Okay, keep everything long. Relax your hands. Relax your throat, neck, and jaw. All right, come to a seat. I'll do this one from the side. All right. So a seat with your legs in front of you. Bend your knees. Hands to the backs of your thighs. Sit up tall. Relax your shoulders. Lean back. Now, keeping your feet on the ground, or at least your heels on the ground, lean back as much as you can while keeping your back flat. In Pilates, they often cue to look at the letter C. That's not what we're doing here. That is not wrong, it's just not what we're doing here. So your back stays flat as you lean. Create as much space between your torso and your thighs as possible. You should feel your abs turn on here. So you might stay. For more, you might lift your feet. If you do that, lift your ankles to the height of your knees. Don't just let them hover. If you're gonna lift them, lift them. Okay, feet are together for stability, flexed to protect the knees. Toes point to the sky. And your hope here is to stay still. So lift your chest, relax your shoulders. You might even relax your arms, releasing your arms, reaching fingertips forward. You might even lengthen your legs. But I want you to pick somewhere where your abs are working. Okay, from here, lengthen your legs, push through the heels. Imagine that you're wearing shoes made of cement, heavy, pushing into the floor. They're not gonna lift. Heels down, cement shoes, reach fingertips forward. Inhale, start to slowly lower down onto the mat. One vertebrae at a time. The slower the better. Now you're making that letter C, and then reach fingertips up overhead. Thumbs tap the ground, and inhale, slowly lift up. Exhale, come back up. So inhale to start the movement. Exhale, finish it. Whether it's the lift or the lower. And if as you're lifting, you get stuck, that's very normal. But don't swing back, because that doesn't make you stronger. You just used momentum. Momentum does not make you stronger. So either dig your elbow into the ground to help you up, or grab onto the backs of your thighs. But don't swing back. The slower, the better for this exercise. So really controlled, really slow. Keep pushing the heels forward. Okay. All right, we're gonna come onto our backs. So these next several exercises are Pilates type exercises. So we're gonna come into single leg stretch. So lengthen your left leg, hug your right knee in, lift your head, neck, and shoulders, and allow the left leg to float up off the ground. The lower, the harder this is. So it might lift up, that's okay. Inhale, switch the legs. Exhale, switch. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, so you're kicking one leg forward as you hug the other one in. The lower the foot comes, the harder this is. So it's your call. We've got several more exercises, so I don't want you to feel totally tuckered out at the end of this one, but this one you should be working. So head, neck, and shoulders lifted. You're lifting in, curling in. Relax your throat, neck, and jaw. If you feel this in your throat, neck, and jaw, bring your hands behind your head. That's fine. I want you to feel this in your abs, not your throat, neck, and jaw, not through the face and the neck, okay? So these next few exercises or the next one, I should say, is another Pilates movement called corkscrew. So notice that you feel this a little bit higher. Now we're gonna work lower. So hands come underneath you, like you're sitting on the backs of your hands. Feet come up overhead. Now you should push your ribs down. There shouldn't be a space between your lower back and the floor. That is really unsafe for your back. So push the ribs down, push the lower back down, lengthen the legs, feet together. Inhale as you trace a circle. Exhale, finish the circle, pause at the top. Inhale, go the opposite direction. Exhale, finish the circle, pause at the top. Inhale, start the circle. Exhale, finish. Inhale, start. Exhale, finish. Okay, now I want you to feel this in your lower abs, not your lower back. So push your lower back into the floor, push your ribs into the floor, and the larger the circle, the harder this is. So the circle might be small, like the size of a basketball or a volleyball, that's fine. Might be the size of a hula hoop, that's fine too. As long as you feel it in your abs, not your back. We're gonna stay a little bit longer, moving in these fluid, smooth circles. Okay, here's where I want you to grab the pillow or the block or whatever you had. I guess I'll grab the bridge pose. Now we're gonna work your back. So you're gonna place something between your inner thighs, arms alongside the body. Push the feet down, lift the hips, push into the prop, release away from the prop, and lower down. So lift, squeeze, release, lower. Lift, squeeze, release, lower. I want it to be 4 distinct, clear movements. The more tired you get, the sloppier your movements become. And that's not a personal attack, because that happens to everyone, myself included. And so we want to make sure that you are in control of every single movement. Everything that you do is strong, smooth, fluid, but clear. We can tell what part of the movement you're on. Now you're going to feel this in your lower back, your glutes, your hamstrings, and your inner thighs. This is our second to last exercise, so we've just got one more. Okay, last one I want you you to grab onto whatever it is that you've got. We're going to do a pass through. So feet come up, arms come up. When the arms come up, so does the head, neck, and shoulders. Everything lifts. Lift everything up, pass the block through, or pass whatever it is through, and then lower down. Lift, lift, pass it through, lower down, lift. So you might lift your arms and your legs separately, like I am, or you might lift and lower them all together at the same time. That's going to be harder. This block is actually really heavy, and this is making it really tough. I probably sound like I'm making excuses, but either way, I want you to feel like you're working hard through your abs, through the low abs and the upper abs. So through the whole front, but not your back. Now this is your last exercise, and then after this we're going to stretch. Now for my McFetridge people, you're used to doing this twice through, so you're welcome to do this twice through. I'm pooped, I'm good, but if you want to do it again, you're welcome to. You can rewind it. But we're going to stretch in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Come onto your back. Oh, the timer's going to probably keep going off. Sorry, I didn't think that through. But I'm not doing this again. At least not today. So take a full body stretch. Fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Now here it's okay if your ribs lift up off the ground. Before, when we were working, it was not okay. This space is not okay when you're doing ab exercises, because if this is stretching, it can't be working. But now we want it to stretch. So take a full body stretch, really lift your ribs, lift your heart, take a breath. Okay, and then relax. Bend your knees, feet flat on the ground, arms come out in opposite directions. Bring your right ankle to the top of your thigh. Softly flex your right foot, protect your right knee. I want you to feel a stretch in your right glute, for those of you familiar with pigeon, like a pigeon pose. So you might stay here, or you might lift your left leg, bring your hands to the back of your left thigh, and hug that leg in. And again, flex your feet, protect your knees. Ignore the timer. Let your shoulders relax towards the floor and away from your ears. And hugging that thigh in so you feel a comfortable stretch in your right glute. So you should be feeling it right about here, in the space that felt like it was working hard in the squats and the bridges and the lunges and probably the balance poses as well. Okay, take 3 more deep breaths here. Okay. Keep your legs as they are, but release your hands. Just let the left foot come down. Cross your right leg all the way over so there's no more space between your thighs. Your thighs are together. Scoot your hips over to the right 2 to 3 inches. Let the legs fall to the left. Let your arms come out in opposite directions, palms face up. Ignore the timer. Okay. Now make sure that your right shoulder is down on the ground, even though your legs fall to the left. That's going to help you grow long and create a deeper stretch here. Okay, and then maybe you turn at your neck to look over your right shoulder, but allow this to be very passive. It should take almost no work. 3 more breaths. And then if your head is turned, slowly return to the center. Slowly return your legs to the center. Uncross the legs, recenter the hips. Take a deep breath. I don't know if you can tell, but I live on a busy street. There's lots of sirens going by. Okay. Figure 4 on the second side.
bring the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. You can stay here, you can hug your right thigh in, but you're going to flex your feet. You're gonna flex your feet to protect your knees. And I like here when I interlace my fingers, I try to do it the other way, the way I don't normally do it. So just sort of getting used to doing things sort of both ways. Okay, so hugging the leg in, feeling a comfortable stretch in your left thigh, or I'm sorry, in your left glute in the back side. You might feel it down the thigh though. I actually do feel it sort of go along almost like my IT band. And then let your shoulders relax. We'll take 3 breaths here. But we are switching. Let the right foot come down, cross the left leg all the way over, thighs together. Scoot your hips over to the left, let your legs fall to the right, arms out, palms up. Now, if crossing the legs is uncomfortable, you don't have to do it. It is gonna deepen the twist and create a stretch through the outer part of the hip, which is a bonus, but if it's too intense, it's not worth it. Twisting though is beneficial after any time you do abdominal or any sort of torso work. Your abs, and especially your lower back, have the tendency to work, contract, and shorten, and then stay that way. And then that's why a lot of people have back pain, is because those muscles are just constantly gripping. And so twisting massages them, lengthens them, stretches them. So a deep twist is a good thing here, if it's comfortable. You might turn at your neck to look over your left shoulder. And we're gonna take 3 more deep breaths here. And slowly return your head back to the center. And then slowly return your legs back to the center. Uncross, recenter. Take a deep breath here. Okay. Inhale. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Now, you could rock side to side and massage your lower back. Maybe trace circles with your knees like you're stirring a pot. If it's comfortable, we'll come to rolling like a ball, which is another Pilates movement. It's meant to help massage your spine and break up any knots, create a little bit more mobility there. If it feels really intense, skip it. It's not worth it. But to do that, hug your knees into your chest, tuck your chin to your chest, and rock and roll along the length of your spine. Try to make your spine from a side profile look like the letter C, round it as much as possible. Yogis think cat pose, Pilates people think the C curve. If there's a flat spot, that's tightness, and that's okay. But do about 2 or 3 more. Break it up, massage it, and then slowly return to the center, and you are all set. So thank you so much for joining me. I very much underestimated how much work goes into doing this routine. When I teach this, I don't do the exercises with you, and this is a really tough routine. So thank you for doing it now, and if you've taken my class wherever you've taken it and you've done this, kudos to you, because this was tough. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.